Next, we have the privilege of introducing a dynamic duo from SAP who exemplify excellence in design and research. Tyler King is a senior UX researcher with over a decade of experience at SAP and IBM. Her leadership in research projects has significantly influenced products such as SAP Fieldglass and IBM Z Resiliency. Tyler's exceptional work has earned her numerous accolades, including the prestigious IBM Eminence and Excellence Award. With a solid educational foundation from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, Tyler's expertise continues to drive innovation in the UX field. Joining her today is Gabriela Rocha, a seasoned user experience researcher and a designer based in Berlin. Gabriela has been an integral part of SAP for nearly 5 years, where she currently serves as a UX researcher specialist. Her deep knowledge in product research and UX design has made a notable impact on the projects she's been involved in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me giving the warmest round of applause welcoming these distinguished women in design, Tyler King and Gabriela Rocha.
Let's welcome our next TED-like talk speaker.
Give it up, everybody. All yours.
Clap again, please, please, please. Be loud, be loud. I want to make sure everybody's awake. It's early in the morning. We've had our coffee, right? All right. Hi, everybody. We are very, very excited to be here. I'm very sleepy. I got here yesterday from the US, so it's very early in the morning for me, too. Oh, perfect. All right. So, hi, everybody. We're very excited to be here with you, and I'm very excited to introduce to you my favorite partner in crime, my favorite UX designer turned researcher, Gabriela Rocha.
Hello, everyone. I'm also so delighted to be here, especially with this incredible senior UX researcher, Tyler. Amazing person to work with. And we are both part of SAP core design team, product research. And that means this is a centralized team where we worked across teams. The next slide, please. Oh, okay. That means we work with lots of different teams in different LOBs, different lines of business, and that means lots of different stakeholders. And for that, we need to constantly be building new relationships and nurturing the existing ones so that the research we do can be impactful, and that's what we are going to be talking today.
So, it's more fun for us if we give you guys like teachings and lessons through a story because it'll be more fun for us to talk, more fun for you guys to listen, right? So we're gonna walk you guys through a project that we had last year. And for this project, we joined a new team. We're gonna call it APN, which stands for Anonymous Product Name. And when we joined this new project, our manager gave us very, very little direction. He said, hey, you're gonna go join the APN team. They've never had a UX researcher before. I don't know what they need research about. Good luck, have fun. So that's kind of fun for Gabby and I because we get a lot of creative freedom to flex our research muscles. We get to technically do whatever we want to do. But it also comes with a lot of challenges, right? It's ambiguity. We don't really know who the stakeholders are, so we had to navigate the stakeholders. We had to define this mysterious research scope. And we had to deal with this low UX maturity of the team. Like I said, they had never had a UX researcher before. So when we went to our stakeholders and we said, hey, what do you need research about? We got a lot of this. Oh, UX research is just usability testing, right? So I know we have a lot of students in here. Clap if this is something you have heard before from random people. I hear it all the time. I hate it. It's the worst. And this might be controversial. Gabby and I don't actually like doing usability testing. Crazy. I know, it's crazy. But we think that our expertise and our strength as UX researchers, professional UX researchers, really lies in ensuring that product strategy specifically is informed by user needs. We want to be driving human-centered product strategy. And that's what we wanted to do for whatever type of research we were going to do for APN. And we were starting from, hey, can you do usability testing? And we wanted to work our way to strategy. So we're going to teach you guys how to build trust with your product teams so that you can do the research that you actually want to do. Not just usability testing, whatever you actually want to do. And to do this, we're going to talk to you guys about a couple different pillars. So we have building relationships, super, super key for building trust. We want to talk about uncovering stakeholder motivators and how you can make some short-term compromises and kind of forego your research dreams for a little bit in favor of kind of building a plan and building trust. And then Gabby and I, we work for a business. You guys will all work for businesses one day, right? So we're going to talk about how you can help the business along the way to further build trust with your team.
Yes, like Tyler said, building partnerships, it's how we start every project. So that's what we are going to start talking about it. And the first step, it's about finding the right partners. Finding the right partners is key to make sure that your research has impact. And so this is a very important step. The first partners we talk with are UX designers. And it's because UX designers, they're just an easy entry point because they understand UX and they understand the value of UX research. So they are our natural allies. The second group that we talk with are engineers. Engineers are not only essential to make our ideas come true, make it feasible, but Tyler and I also identified that SAP, it's an engineer-led company. Engineers play a big role in the decision-making. Last but not least, product managers. So let's focus on that now. That's a very key partnering with product managers because they are the make or break factor for having impact. They are the ones deciding the roadmap, which is the plan of deciding what are the insights that will be implemented in the software. Okay, so we got the first step. We found our partners. Now comes step 2, which is personally my favorite part, which is coffee calls. Coffee calls are, at SAP, part of our culture, and it also it strengthens our philosophy, which is about building bridges. Coffee calls are just very easy and obstacle-free to just reach out basically to anyone so that you can talk with people, which is just really great. But let's take a moment to talk about coffee calls here. Coffee calls are by default a informal conversation, but we are researchers, so we love methods, right? So we use a methodological approach for having the coffee calls. On one side, we have a plan with strategic questions, that we have a script with strategic questions where we make sure to make notes about everything that we've learned in these coffee calls. And the other side, we make sure that we are also keeping it informal. And that's very important because you wanted to have, you want to keep the conversational tone and making it natural, like make new questions as it comes. Don't just stick to the script because you want to make them feel comfortable. Making feel comfortable will allow them to express their real problems. And that's what we want to get. That's like the gold that it's very important for framing research later. So we found the right partners. And we had lots of coffee calls, gathered a lot of insights. Now comes step 3, which is about understanding their asks. So sometimes, so maybe, yeah, okay, so who have ever heard this before? Users don't know what they want.
Clap.
So clap.
Give me the clap.
Like it's a classic from UX, right? And stakeholders are just the same, like it's just humans. So we need to understand what are the stakeholders really asking for, what their really needs are instead of what they want. So yes, which brings us to figuring out their real needs. So yes, because stakeholders are just the same, like I just said. And that's what they said. We want to be aligned with the industry, and AKA competitive analysis. Or they said, we need to make it easy to use, and AKA usability testing. And you know how Tyler and I feel about usability testing, right?
It's a no from me, and it's a no from Alu Arjun.
So, but we also asked them what the problems they were having, and this question happened to be much more revealing. They told us about having sales issues and maybe changing product strategy, and they also were not sure who the users were, which is a pretty big pain point. So first, the product was being used for marketing, but actually IT was using. So it happens that, like just Tyler mentioned before, they've never worked with UX researchers before, so they didn't know what UX researchers could really do for them. So we saw this as a great opportunity to teach them what UX research can really bring to the table, can really help them. So the key takeaway from building partnerships is treat your stakeholders just like users. Instead of focusing on their requests, focus on their pain points and understand how you can actually can help them, because in the end of the day, they're the one using your insights. So they're basically like using your insights. Yes, which brings us to all the data. So now it's about prioritizing.
Yeah, so we understood our stakeholders' different pain points and needs, and we started to understand where the actual problems were. So now it came down to actually defining the research and scoping the research, because we can't just go out and be like, we're going to figure out this problem. We need to define it, right? So before we tell you what we did, we want to know from you guys, one, are there any researchers in the crowd? I want some UX researchers. Give me hands, give me claps. I see one. All right, you. Okay, I see two. Okay. So what I want from you guys, I want you guys to yell to me what your primary goals are when you do a research project. What do you really want to do? There's no right or wrong answers. Just tell me what's in your heart. Yell it. So that I can hear it. I'm far away. And I see you smiling with your green lanyards. So I choose you.
Yeah, could you repeat your question?
Tell me about your dreams as a researcher. When you do a new project, what do you really want to do? What's your primary goal?
Just the primary goal to understand the user as
All
much
right.
as possible.
That's
And
perfect.
of course, the stakeholder as well, because it's a pretty difficult task to understand the stakeholder needs, first of all.
I love it. All right, I saw like a cluster of researchers over there, so pass it to one of your friends and make them do it.
Just to understand what we are solving for, I think that is the big question, that what exactly this software is or problem that we are actually facing.
Awesome. And I saw one more researcher over there. Put someone else on the spot. Oh, no, don't. Okay, there's one guy in red. Or you're the front. All right, we got one guy in the front. Yell to me. What are we building? Okay, so what we're building, how we're building it, and what? And how we're going to solve it. What we're building, why we're building it, how we're going to solve it. Thank you. These are all great. Gabby and I share those same goals, but we have many, many more too. So we've condensed them down into our 3 goals for when we start research projects. So Gabby and I want to do interesting research. We don't want to be bored, and we want to impact the product. Otherwise, we're doing research for no reason. We want to help users, just like all of you guys, right? Because, duh, that's our job, user, researchers, and we work for a business who's writing our paychecks, so we want to increase product value, right? We also have stakeholders, like product managers, and they have their own sets of goals. So they want to sell the product, they want to meet their KPIs and different performance metrics, they want to bring value to the customers, and just like us, they want to increase product value, right? Now, these goals seem kind of different from ours, right? But if we kind of map them, we can see that if Gabby and I do interesting research and we impact the product, and if we help users, we are working with our stakeholders to drive customer value and increase product value, which in turn is going to help sell the product. It'll help our stakeholders achieve their ultimate goal of hitting their performance metrics, right? So even though our goals seem kind of different from our stakeholders at first glance, they're actually pretty similar. They're just framed a little bit differently. So it comes down to how you articulate your goals, right? But the secret goal that Gabby and I also had was we really, really wanted to talk to users because we are user researchers. And in order to do this, the kind of blocker or the way to get there was to build relationships with our sales team because our sellers, they control access to the users, to the customers, so we had to build relationships with them if we wanted to talk to customers. But our product managers, our product team, they were having problems and questions related to low sales numbers. They wanted to understand problems that the sales team were having. So Gabby and I were like, oh my God, we found a common thread. The common thread between ourselves and our stakeholders is the sales team. That was our connection point. They wanted to understand pain points associated with sales, and we wanted to build relationship with the sellers. So we decided to make a compromise. Instead of doing really big, crazy strategic research right now, instead of doing research directly with our end users right now, we were going to do research internally with sellers so that we could have some quick value, quick turnaround time, so that we could do the research that we really wanted to do later down the road. So we're like paving a path that way. Very mature, we forego kind of pleasure right now so that we can have a good path forward moving forward. So our goal became to improve APN sales by identifying the primary sales blockers. Like I said, it was going to be very quick because the research was going to be internal with stakeholders. It would be very actionable. It would also very, very clearly and obviously demonstrate business value because we're working with sellers and sales equals money, right? So that's a very quick, very easy way to prove value of research. And Gabby and I selfishly wanted to build those strategic partnerships with our sales team. So selling APN became our major motivator, and it became the shared goal with the stakeholders and with our sales partners that we wanted to build. And by having this shared goal, it was very easy for us to establish trust. So the quick takeaways of this section: play the long game. You don't have to do the exact research project that you want to do right now if it means that you can deliver a quick win to your product team and build trust with them. But another way to build trust is by having a shared goal. So by establishing that common ground, it's very easy to build trust with those teams because we're all moving in the same direction. We're all shooting for the same thing. All right, the study.
And now come the study. We were so much waiting for this time. We're researchers. We love conduct research. And yay. But now we need to take a breath because even when focusing on research, we should always be intentional about communication. And I mean, very intentional about communication. We kept the stakeholders in the loop about every part of the process, every stage of the research. And for that, we created a weekly call where we had our key partners, the product managers, the engineer lead, and the designers, to sprinkle early insights, test waters, get their feedback, and most of all, get them excited and very much looking forward to the research result. Never forgetting priorities, right? So we wanted to deliver quickly and we want to have actionable insights. So you might ask, how? And we started with a survey so we could quickly collect some quant data that has low commitment from the sellers. Sellers don't have much time, right? This survey helped us to design the interview and understand the sellers better. We also, so once we design the interviews, and that the interviews are also the main key method for also building trust while collecting insights. So we decided to focus on this method to give you some interview hacks. The first interview hack is speak their language. And I mean, like, literally speak their language, which brings me to one of my favorite moments in my career, actually. Tyler and I, we need to deliver quickly, right? So Tyler and I were having interviews back to back. We didn't have much pause, so we did divide and conquer. In one session, one would lead the interview. In the other session, the other one would take notes. And in this specific session, Tyler was leading the interview with a seller from Latin America, and she was absolutely fantastic, and she noticed that the seller was having some struggle to speak language with the English language. So she stepped back, and I could conduct the interview, and it was just fantastic because we could see the interviewer was immediately feeling more comfortable and revealing much more than initially.
Okay, before you move on and tell them about networking, I have to give you your props and your flowers because she sounds so much more calm than I was. Because I emergency slacked her and I was like, you need to conduct this interview in Spanish now. Red flags, emergency. And she didn't skip a beat, she didn't ask any questions, she said, okay. And she started conducting the interview. So one, very graceful, very wonderful. But she also did it in a way that made the user feel really comfortable. This guy wasn't comfortable speaking in English, so she quickly switched to Spanish in a way that didn't make him feel embarrassed for struggling or anything, and she made him feel so comfortable, and it really helped build trust there. So good job, Gabby. Yay.
Thank you, friend. I mean, I love this story because this story is about great teamwork. It's about leveraging each other's skill to make to make the interviewer comfortable. And making the interviewer comfortable is very important because once the interviewer is comfortable, they will naturally become your partner and they will help you grow your network. It's actually quite simple. You just need to remember to do the magic question to open doors. So who knows maybe what is the question to open doors?
Aloha Mora.
Open sesame?
I like the Harry Potter answer.
I like the Alibaba somehow. Okay, good. The magic question is there anyone else you think you should be talking to? And I know this sounds maybe obvious, but actually is not. And this question has a huge impact. We actually tripled the amount of interviews, and we got a lot of contacts than when we initially had because we did this, this question. Yes. And last but not least is ask for what you need. So ask if you need to talk with anyone, ask if you want to talk to customers. That was our big mission, right? We wanted to talk with customers. So don't be afraid for asking what you need. Ask for what you need. After every interview, when we asked, can we talk with your customers, 100% of the sellers said yes. So we accomplished our mission, it was just very happy. We also reached our goal, which was to identify primary sales blockers. And this talk is about building trust, but I think it's important to let you know what our research insights are, so I'm just gonna give you an overview. We identified unseeing stakeholders. There was disparity between the purchaser and the user, which made it very unclear to understand what the end user was. So we mapped all stakeholders from the product. We also uncover impediments from sales, understood the market maturity, marketing, and also the lack of key resources. So we identified all of those. And we also paved the way for successful sales, where we mapped all the user cases and we guided them to the use cases that would support the customers understanding what the product is. And yeah, and that's the happy end of the research cycle.
All right, you're almost done with us. You're almost free. You can almost have coffee. So what did we learn from this? What were the actual outcomes? First, we had some very happy stakeholders. They asked us to share our research beyond just their immediate team. They wanted us to present to their executives, which is very cool. But more importantly, Gabby and I accomplished our mission because they came to us and they said, we want more research. And the research we want specifically from you guys is customer research. We want you to talk to users. So without even asking, somehow we had like inceptioned them to be on the same team as us, like share their goals with us. So that was very cool. So we accomplished that mission. And then we conducted workshops with our stakeholders to help them create plans to implement the research findings so that nothing was just being left on a shelf, right? So everybody was very happy and loving research, except for 2 people. Our mistake. We forgot about 2 key stakeholders, oops, because we had been really busy trying to connect with our product managers and our engineering leads, and we totally forgot about 2 UX executives that we had been introduced to at the beginning of our study. And because of this, they became very defensive and very critical of our work, even though we had gotten really great reviews from literally everybody else. So this just led us to believe that if we had pulled them in at the beginning of our project and kept them involved throughout, they would have been our allies because they just wanted a shared victory. So you live and you learn. That's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. And we learned that we need to be really, really extra communicative and intentional about our communication moving forward. But before I wrap up, I want to leave you guys kind of with an image right here. I want you guys to look at this word. And if you're going to take away literally anything from this presentation, I want it to be this. The common thread that we just talked through today was all about communication. Communication is so important to building trust so you can do your job effectively. We didn't talk about methods. I didn't tell you how to conduct a survey because you guys can figure it out. You know how to do it. We talked about communication, clear, intentional, authentic, transparent communication through coffee chats, through a really clear research plan, through interviews with the sellers. We communicated with everybody we needed to. And throughout the process, Gabby and I were really, really authentic, which was so important to building trust and really driving home this idea of human-centered design throughout our entire process, right? So communication, that's the only thing I need you to remember. But back to the story. This was actually our final study with APN. We ended up getting pulled in a different direction because of like resource allocation stuff. But I'm very happy to tell you guys that 1 year later, Gabby and I are actually back on a project together, yay, and we are leveraging everything we learned from this project. So we are making short-term compromises. We just wrapped up a study that was kind of boring, but it delivered a lot of really great and quick insights to our stakeholders, so they were happy. We're also conducting our favorite coffee calls, yay, and building those relationships and partnerships. And while we're doing this, we're uncovering stakeholder motivations. And in doing this, we actually found a study that we really wanted to do that's going to help the business. Ooh, great. So that already gets us off on a great foot. It aligns really clearly with stakeholder motivations. And it's aligned with like interesting work that we want to do that's actually going to drive human-centered design and bring value to our customers. So we're very, very excited. We're in the middle of the project. We just finished phase 1, yay. But we took everything we learned from our previous project and we applied it here, and we're going to continue to do that for every project we're on together because that's how we build trust to pave the way for impactful research. Thanks, guys. If you see us around, talk to us. We're very approachable. We're very nice.
Thank you, UX India, for organizing all this. It's amazing to be here.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for these 2 incredible women in design. Let's hear it loud and clear. Now, I did see you take a picture of the audience. Why don't we do it together? Do you all want to take a picture with them? Yes? Please, right here.
Oh,
Let's take a selfie together. Take out your mobile phone. Yes, I saw that. I observed that on this side. Honestly, thank you for keeping it so real. Thank you for keeping it super fun. I hope you all learnt a lot and had fun doing so. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Tyler and Gabby! Get your hands up, get your hands up in the air, get your hands up in the air. One more time, get your hands up in the air. There you go. Thank you. Before we let you go though, we have something very special for you. May I please invite on stage Mr. Kaladhar Bapu to please present the mementos to these two incredible women in design. It is so lovely having you here today. Let's welcome Mr. Bapu with a big round of applause, please. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I think with that, it's a time for us to take a short little break. Let's break for high tea and coffee, and let's convene back in 20 minutes from now. Yes? Okay, let's go in, get our spirits up with our tea and coffee, and come back here in 20 minutes as we have a lot of exciting learnings awaiting just your presence. Yeah? Let's break for a tea, coffee, and come back in 20. Thank you so much for being wonderful here already. Thank you.